Sup. College football is back. Don't know what that intro was, but I don't have a set one anymore. So, did I do a college football review last week, or was that the week I was sick? Yeah, I don't think I did one for this week. I don't remember though. We're doing one this week because I feel better. There's two games we're going to review, starting with Georgia, Florida. No, a lot of people say Georgia could win without Brock Bowers and stuff like that. Mostly just that. Well, Brock Bowers was not needed to destroy Florida once again for the third year in a row. Beck Edwards account for the two touchdowns each, and number one Georgia thumps Florida 43-20 in cocktail party. Carson Beck and dozens of teammates ran towards the end zone, jumped into the stands, and frolicked with the Georgia faithful. They danced, posed for pictures, and waved red pom-poms long after Coach Kirby Smart passed and pointed in appreciation. Yeah, this was another dominating win for Georgia, as usual. Florida drops to 5-3, which is not great because their schedule is not easy to continue on. Florida only scored in their first drive and their last two drives. Well, not their last two, but one of them was garbage time. One of them was just a great drive for Florida, but just a little bit too late. Georgia ended up scoring in every quarter. Florida only scored in two quarters. You get the drill. Georgia was always favored, had way more total yards, no turnovers, way more first downs over time possession. This was just a good old-fashioned butt-smacking because this was terrible for Florida. Carson Beck, 19 of 28, 315, two touchdowns. Another amazing game from Beck. He is really fighting for the Heisman this year. If Georgia could have a Heisman, that'd be really cool. Daijun Edwards had 15 for 96 and two touchdowns. I mean, I knew he was a great running back since his first season. He's been great with us since Zeus and Cook were still on the team. And then when McIntosh was, I was like, no, I want to see McIntosh, I want to see Edwards. And now he's getting the bulk of the carries. He's been amazing. But Millen's always been decent as well. I don't know why we're so good at making Dylan Bell the ball at all. We have our two running backs. And Branson Robinson will be back too soon. We'll be good. Receiving, Lad McConkey, amazing game. He really stepped up this week. 6 for 135. Dominique Lovett, 4 for 83. Oscar Delp, 2 for 31. Dylan Bell, 2 for 21 and a touchdown. A couple other catches. I want to see Rara Thomas get a little bit more yards, but can't get too mad over it. I just really like Rara Thomas. He's probably my second favorite receiver we have on the team. We did recover a fumble instead of losing them this week. Buller led us with tackles of 7. We had a total of 4 sacks, half for Michael Williams and Damon Wilson, 1 for J.A. Walker, 1 for Tyrion Ingram Dawkins, I think he's number 93, and 1 for Dumas Johnson, who also had a tackle for loss. Melman had 2 in our 8 tackle for loss showout. And we had 2 passes defense. Scrimmers wasn't terrible against us. We'll talk about that later. No interceptions, nothing really interesting besides Woodring hitting 2 field goals. Let's get to Florida. Graham Mertz actually had a pretty good game. He tried his hardest, really he did. 25 of 34 for 230 yards and 2 interceptions. That's kind of a low QB rating. Maybe it counts into if you lost or how many yards you had per attempt and stuff, because he only has 6.8. Rushing, Montrell Johnson had a big run, 48 yards, which kind of carried his carries, because without that it would be 8 for 34. 8 for 34 still good, though. He was one of the better right backs that's ever faced off against us. Trevor Etienne did decent as well. I mean, I didn't expect Florida to be completely unusable on offense. I had us winning 34-13. It wasn't that close of a prediction, but I still think that I still knew they were going to put up some points. Ricky Pearsall was really open. 6 for 99. Kamori Lassiter can't guard everyone. I feel like him and Starks are really the only players I even care about in this secondary. We don't have the best secondary this year. We allow way too many big plays. Eugene Wilson, 11 for 75 and a touchdown. Not much else from the Florida's receiving core besides 1 catch. Grammer fumbled twice. They're looking like Desmond Ridder out here. We'll talk about him at a later date. 1 fumble lost. And Princely Human Princely had 9 tackles, which is the most on his team, save for 6 solo tackles. No sacks for Florida, only 4 tackles for loss. They just couldn't keep us behind the backfield. They had 3 passes defensed, all by one player, Jason Marshall, so not very consistent on defense. And Trevor Etienne had a good kick return. All I want to say is that the decision to go for it on 4th down was questionable at best and downright idiotic at worst for Billy Napier. And then the play call was even worse than that. Like, it was just terrible. It was very bad. But let's get to the other game I was going to talk about today. Since I wanted to go with a slightly closer game. Well, way closer. Oklahoma, Kansas. Neal scores go-ahead touchdown with 55 seconds left. Kansas University holds on to beat number 6 Oklahoma 38-33. I really thought Oklahoma was going to keep this one, but nope. I watched Ohio State Wisconsin. I was going to review that one if it was closer, but nah. Kansas coach Lance Leipold has always been focused on the future. Next game, the renovations that are about to transform Memorial Stadium, the long-term prospects of a program that has long been in the dumps. As you can see here, Oklahoma had the bulk of their points in one quarter. Couldn't put up much points in any other quarter. They could put up more than 6 points in any other quarter. While Kansas put up consistently 7 points or more in each quarter, which allowed them to take the win. As you can see here, Kansas in the 3rd and 4th quarters scored 5 times, while Oklahoma scored twice. They had almost the same amount of total yards and turnovers. Kansas ended up with more first downs and more time possession. Hopefully this review isn't taking too long. 7 minutes is not too bad. Dylan Gabriel, 14 of 19 for 171 interception. Pretty sure he's having a really good season. But, yeah, he's having a great season, just not his best showing against Kansas. Tawee Walker, 23 carries for 146 yards, single-handedly kept Oklahoma in this game with a long of 28. Dylan Gabriel did do well on his feet, though. 14 of 64 for 3 touchdowns. Yes, 3 rushing touchdowns. Not really much else besides the rushing touchdown from Gavin Sawchuk. Drake Stoops, 4 for 76, a long of 39. Brennan Thompson also had a long of 39 his only catch. And not really much else to point out from this team. Fumbles. Oklahoma fumbled twice. One by Stripling, one by Farouk. They lost both, and Kip Lewis recovered a Kansas fumble. Defensively, a lot of players with 6 tackles. No one really stood out. And no sacks. 3 tackles. This is worse than Florida, okay? And they play against Georgia. 7 passes defense, though, but really, the line of scrimmage must have really hurt Oklahoma this week, putting up no sacks and 3 tackles for loss. Yeah, we gotta see why they lost this game. They couldn't stop Kansas' defense at all. 2 interceptions, one by Ethan Downs and one by Billy Bowman. They did alright in kick returns. Well, except for Marcus Stripling. I think he fumbled on that one, too. Maybe. And no field goals kicked, only 3 extra points. Let's get to Kansas. Jason Bean, 15 of 32, not great. 218 yards and 2 interceptions. If you saw this stat line in any other game, you would assume this team lost. But they didn't. Devin Neal ran for 25 times for 112 yards and a touchdown. Jason Bean, the quarterback, also ran for a touchdown, so a lot of quarterback touchdowns in this game. And Daniel Hishaw also ran for 2 TDs. The run game crushed Oklahoma. Receiving, Lawrence Arnold, 79 yards. Fairchild, 62. And Quentin Skinner with 32. Those are the big players right there. They recovered 2 fumbles, and Trevor Wilson fumbled and lost his fumble. Kenny Logan led the team with 10 tackles, and 6 of them for our solo tackles. But Marvin Grant led the team in solo tackles with 7. 1 sack, 4 tackles. Neither of these teams really got many tackles behind the lines in this game. Only 1 pass defense, but a defensive touchdown. I think it was his pick 6 by Mello Dawson early in the game. Pretty good kick returning all game, really. I think 20, like 30, like I don't know. I don't know where they're receiving it from. I don't know if they're receiving it on end or not. They hit 2 of their 3 field goals. Before I talk about the college football playoffs, I will say this almost eliminates Texas. They need to win the Big 12 championship now, guaranteed, because well, they probably need to win it anyway, but Oklahoma losing after they beat you is not a great look. I think Texas is probably better than Oklahoma anyway, though. Kansas likes to win, but wouldn't really help them that much. Now, later today, like literally later today, after you see this video, the college football players will come out. I'll probably make my thoughts on that. We have a big week coming ahead because not only am I doing the Falcons game review this week, I'm also doing my first official mock draft. I'll try to get that out at week 8. And I will probably be, like, reviewing the college football playoffs. So that's, like, a big week. I usually only upload around 2 videos a week. But now, this should be, like, a 4 videos this week. But, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Stay tuned for bigger and better videos later this week.